Hello Zaniacs, welcome back to Zaniac TV. I'm your host Zane, and in this video we're going to talk about how to gear up from 0 to hero. This video is for those of you who just created an alt or are new to the game and want to figure out how to start running Mythic Pluses and gear up. If anyone has any questions, I do stream live on Twitch 4 days a week. I also offer Mythic Plus analytics and coaching through Patreon. So you just made it to level 60 on an alt, or this is your first level 60, and you're not entirely sure what to do. Your gear's kind of low compared to everybody else. You're not sure how to get into Mythic Plus runs, or even that Mythic Pluses even exist if you're new to the game. So how do you gear up? What do you do? How do you progress? Well, the very first thing I recommend that you do is complete your Covenant campaign quest. It is a 9-chapter storyline that at the end of it, you will be able to upgrade 8 slots of gear to item level 197 and get a 187 weapon. This also allows you to unlock your soul binds, so that way you can put in your conduits and you'll be able to be as powerful as you possibly can at this current item level. You're able to do this completely solo, so you don't need to put groups together, you don't need to rely on anybody else. All you do is just follow your Covenant quest line. How to find those is a boxed in exclamation mark. Not to be confused with the blue ones, which are your Covenant callings, which is different. You should still do those, but not part of this section here about gearing up. While you're out in the world doing your Covenant quests, queue up for dungeon runs. Heroics, you require 151 item level at least, and it gives you item level 171. If you're not high enough yet, then queue up for normals, and you'll be able to obtain 158 gear through the dungeons. It's also a good idea to queue up for these dungeons so you can get yourself familiar with the dungeons for when you do it on Mythic or Mythic Plus difficulty. Once you reach a 170 item level, you could also queue up for Raid Finder, which drops 187 items, and you could possibly get your legendary drop. We'll explain what that is in a little bit in this video. Also, while you're doing your Covenant campaign and queuing up for dungeons, queue up for some PvP battlegrounds. That'll give you honor points, which is a currency to be able to buy 158 gear that as you progress through your Covenant campaign, you will be able to upgrade your gear as well up to item level 197. But that requires a currency and a lot of PvP. While the Covenant campaign has you running around and you're in queue for both dungeons and battlegrounds, keep an eye out for world quests. As you progress your gear and your storyline, world quest item rewards will scale up. Eventually, you might be able to get an upgrade from there. Or there's just this one pesky item that won't upgrade, and you see that there's out in the world, you can just go and get that real quick, grab the item, and then progress through your Covenant campaign. If you're really impatient and you have a lot of gold, what you can also do is go to the auction house and purchase 168 craftable gear or 151 craftable gear, or you can just gather the materials yourself and find a blacksmith for plate wearers, leather worker for mail and leather wearers, and tailor for cloth wearers, and get them crafted. There are also weekly events that will allow you to receive some gear as well. If it's time walking, you can get a 200 item from the raid. If it's Mythic Dungeon runs, you can get a 213 item from the raid. If it's a PvP week, you'll be able to get more honor for you to purchase items from the vendor. These weekly event quests can be picked up by the Great Vault here in Oribos. During your journey, don't forget to grab Torghast runs.
Torghast? What's Torghast?
Well, in this game, there's something called Legendaries, which is a bright orange item, and you're able to put the stats that you want in there, plus a legendary item effect. You would have to look up and see what your best legendary is, or what legendary you want, in the Powers tab. At this point in the game, I would recommend to you to purchase the 190 item level slot gear of your legendary. You will go through and progress through Torghast, and you will get 1250 Soul Ash at some point, and you will be able to get a 190 item level of your legendary. But then you'll see on the auction house that there's a 210 version, a 225 version, and a 235 version. And I know what you're thinking. I don't want to spend all that gold upgrading these legendaries. Well, I got some good news for you. You don't have to. What I did on my alt was I purchased the 190 item level of it. Well, that's not entirely true. I didn't purchase it. I gathered the materials because I'm a skinner. But regardless, purchased the 190 version of it. And then I didn't touch it. I didn't upgrade it. I didn't do anything. I just went and collected soul ash every week from Torghast. And then I purchased the 235 at the end. And I just skipped the upgrade from there using 3,900 soul ash. So I saved money by not buying the 2 middle tier. Well, what is Torghast? Torghast will be introduced to you while you do your Covenant campaign. And what it is, it's a tower of 6 levels that you have to go through, clear it, and at the end, you get soul ash. You have to progress through each of the levels in order to get to level 8, which gives you the maximum amount of soul ash. If you are a new player, you will have to progress through each of the 8 levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, on one of the 2 wings. If you have a main that's already done it somewhat recently, you could skip to level 8, but the problem is that there could be a gear requirement. So just try to find a group for it in the group finder. And the final way of gearing up, which is actually the most powerful way to gear up, but takes the longest to do so, is through Mythic Pluses. At the end of the dungeon run, Mythic Plus items drop anywhere between a 187 item level and a 210 item level. New with patch 9.0.5, you will now be able to receive Valor points at the end of dungeon runs. Valor is a currency that will allow you to upgrade your gear based on what you have completed. If you want to level an item past 200, you will need Shadowlands Keystone Explorer, which is 5s of every dungeon. If you want to level it past 207, you will need 10s of every dungeon. And if you want to level it past 213, you will need 15s of every dungeon. So how does this work? Any item you have received from a dungeon drop post 9.0.5 launch will be able to be upgraded with this Valor system. And of course, after all of this is done, as long as you have at least 1 Mythic Plus done, 3 raid bosses done, or get some PvP done, you will be able to receive an item from the Great Vault on Tuesday. Every Tuesday, based on what you did during that week, you will receive an item randomly inside of your chest with something of your spec appropriate based on the item level of what you did. I know that's a lot of words and that's a lot of confusion, but let me explain it to you in simple terms. If you did 3 Raid Finder bosses, you will receive a 187 item from the chest. If you did a level 2 Mythic Plus, you'll receive a 200 item. And if you did some rated PvP, you'll receive an item based on your honor. Now, something to note here, even if you get all 9 items filled up, you will only receive 1 item from the chest. Just 1. Those are choices. I have an entire video explaining how this works, if you want to go ahead and check that out more in detail, but pretty much you only get 1 item from this. And that's it. That is the best way for you to gear up your fresh alt, or if you're new to the game, your first character. I hope this video was helpful. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, go ahead and drop a comment down below. I hope everyone has a lot of fun gearing up, and we'll see you on the next one.